Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Schomer, and today we're going to do something stupid. This is called the Graveyard Cocktail, and it's a submission by Clad and Clad obviously wants to kill me. So I figured I'd give it a try and see if I survive. This is one of those things you do when you have too much alcohol, both in your house and in your body, and you decide you're going to just get crazy. So what we're going to create is, luckily, small portions of each of these alcohols. So we're going to do a 1/4 ounce. Now, some people list this recipe as a 1/2 ounce to an ounce. Other ones use 151 rum instead of just regular rum. I'm going with Brave Spirits for my rum and my gin. I also have triple sec. I've got some tequila. I'm going to use silver. I've got some St. Petersburg vodka, Knob Creek bourbon, Johnny Walker Black, scotch, but I'm not done. Well, wait, there's more. We're going to be using a bluefin stout from Shipyard. You could use any stout you can get your hands on. Half a glass, or whatever we could fit, of stout, and a half of a beer. That's what they labeled it with, beer, as the recipe. I have chosen, rather than using 151, I'm going with an IPA. This is an India Pale Ale from Gritty McDuff's 21 IPA. So this is probably a bit potent. IPAs are typically have a high alcohol by volume, but I can't figure out, it's refundable in MI. Is that Mrs. Missouri? I don't know what the percentage of alcohol is on here. Apparently it's cool to just not put it all, but let's just say it's probably a bit. So what I'm going to do is, and the recipe says, mix all these alcohols in a beer glass, and then pour the beer in. But I'm going to mix them in a mixing glass with ice to chill them, then put the beer in, because the beer is cold, but I like cold cocktails, especially this. I don't want it lukewarm. I don't want the alcohols to bring down the temperature when you bring the beers in. So I'm just going to, I don't even know what to do with all this stuff. I'm just going to mix them just to chill them. And it might dilute them a little bit, but does it really matter at this point? Put that over there for now. And we won't need too much ice, actually, because we're only going to do a 1/4 ounce. Now, use your best judgment if that's possible when you're even considering making this. And you might also notice I have not chosen to use like a Grand Marnier, a Cointreau, Citronage, Combière for my triple sec substitute, orange liqueur substitute, because I don't think you're going to be buying yourself anything by spending top shelf for this cocktail. Maybe it's just me, and some of this stuff is top shelf, only because that's how I usually roll with specific ingredients. I don't have the bottom of the shelf, so I'm going to work with what I got. I suggest you do the same. Do not go out of your way to make this cocktail by buying top shelf, because I'm going to have to hit you just a little bit. And so this, I will use this again on a real episode where there's actual tequila involved as opposed to a 1/4 ounce. But this is the El Gran Jubileo. I like the bottle, and it's good stuff. I reviewed it on everydaydrinkers.com. You can check that out if you'd like. We're using Brave Spirits rum and Brave Spirits gin. Now, again, I wouldn't call the Brave Spirits product top shelf. It is a U.S.-only brand. So all their products are made in the U.S., and they donate $2 to the men and women in the armed forces, so you've got that going for you. I know they're available in Pennsylvania, and they were expanding out. We interviewed them on the Everyday Drinkers audio show, and they're very passionate about what they're doing. They kind of wanted to bring in the idea of putting out a spirit, but also somehow giving back to the people that they have a huge respect for, which is the military and firefighters and the police forces. So it's an actual valid company that really is working, and they have events that they hold for charity. So it's not, they're not just BSing you. And I'm using, I don't know if you can get a bottom of the shelf scotch. This is a black, I guess you get it red. That's kind of more of a mixer. But I don't mix a lot of scotches, and I drink them straight. This is just me on like a Wednesday night or whatever. So that's kind of like my sipping scotch. There we go. Now we've diluted it a little bit, which is good. I might not even need to really stir it. Smells like a Long Island iced tea, which is, again, another bad time. Put that in our beer glass here. So there you go. What you're really getting is that much alcohol with beer. Not as maybe intense as it looks, but come on, beer by itself can be wrong and dangerous. So we'll do, let's start with the bluefin. The stout's going to be very dark, so this drink is probably going to lend itself to some darkness. And I don't think you really have to worry about pouring it. You're not going to layer these two, although you probably can at some level. I think that's probably enough. So you're kind of getting a black and tan without the black and without the tan, just black. On the surface, it looks like a stout. Definitely. There is a little, you probably can't see it on here, but there is a little ring where it's kind of floating where the alcohol is obviously secretly hiding like a ninja. So, I don't know what it's going to taste like. I can tell you right now, I'm not a huge fan of the bluefin stout, which is why I'm using it in this cocktail. I like stouts. I like imperial stouts. This is not necessarily my favorite. It does taste like a beer. It does tone down the stout. You're not getting a huge, there's some malt, and there's some nice chocolatey, rich malts. I'm not getting any alcohol, any additional. Let's stir this up and see what it does. This reminds me of the AJ's Bubbling Brew. Now, what I might have done is just created a huge danger for myself. No, I think in the end of the day, the stout definitely masks any type of dangerous effects from this drink. There might be some underlying alcohol in here. I can't find it, and I'm not going to drink this whole thing right now because that's a long night. So if you're looking to get crazy, you might even double the ingredients if you want to try and get a little more potency out of it. But that is the Graveyard Cocktail, and I think it will do its job just fine. I'm your host, Eric Schulmer. For EverydayDrinkers.tv, we're teaching you how to drink.